Born into a small community outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, Braun Strowman was a natural athlete. He competed in track and field, football, and wrestling throughout his high school career. This is also when Strowman would transform into a giant, growing from 5 foot 8 inches to 6 foot 5 inches in about 4 years. After high school, Braun would attend community college and work a few different jobs, like being a doorman and a mechanic. In 2007, he attended a scouting combine in an attempt to secure a contract with an NFL team, but it didn't work out. Braun Strowman then turned his attention to strongman competitions. He achieved success in the sport, winning numerous awards during his career. This caught the attention of WWE, and Strowman began training at the Performance Center in 2013. While in development, the now 6 foot 8 inch giant came up with the ring name Braun Strowman. Braun being a reference to the baseball player Ryan Braun, and Strowman derived from the term strong man. His first appearance in WWE was as one of Adam Rose's Rosebuds, and in late 2014, Strowman began wrestling at non-televised NXT events. Unlike other WWE wrestlers in development, Strowman wouldn't make his debut in NXT. The Monster Among Men instead went straight to the main roster. Debuting on Raw in mid-2015, Strowman suddenly appeared in the ring during a tag team match between Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and the Wyatt family. Braun manhandled both of the Shield boys and aligned himself with Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. After making 2 enemies on his first night in WWE, the Giant was ready for his first match. 1 week after Braun's debut, the Wyatts were in the ring, and Bray properly introduced the audience to Braun Strowman. Once they were finished, Strowman's opponent, Dean Ambrose, made his entrance. Dean wasn't alone though. Roman Reigns' music hit, and the big dog came marching through the crowd towards the ring. Once the referee signaled for the bell, the match officially started. Ambrose did get the first shots in, but was quickly knocked down by Strowman. Before Dean could get up, Braun lifted his opponent into the air and sent him flying across the ring. Once wasn't enough, so Braun Strowman threw Ambrose's body again to the opposite side of the squared circle. The Wyatt family member was courteous enough to let Dean Ambrose get back to his feet, only for him to knock Dean back down with a strike. Strowman's relaxed attitude ended up hurting him, as it allowed Ambrose to land. Not waiting around, the bearded beast followed Dean to the outside and slammed him into the ringside barricade. Strowman continued to inflict pain on Ambrose while also taunting Roman Reigns. Things turned to chaos after Braun shoved Reigns, causing the future head of the table to fight back. The match ended in a disqualification win for Braun Strowman, but the fight continued. Dean and Roman tried to take down the Monster Among Men, but Strowman was unstoppable. Even a steel chair wasn't enough to do any damage to Braun. Luke Harper eventually got into the ring, kicking the air around Reigns' head and sending the big dog to the mat. With their enemies defeated, the Wyatts gathered in the ring and relished in their victory. Honestly, this was a good first match. I liked that Braun debuted the week before, so there was a story going into the debut match. Strowman looked really dominant throughout too, and being able to manhandle both Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns made him feel like a legit threat. That feeling continued into Braun's first pay-per-view match, where he teamed with Wyatt and Harper against Reigns, Ambrose, and Chris Jericho. The black sheep of the Wyatt family led his team to victory by making Jericho pass out. Following this, Braun stayed mostly dominant. Technically, his first defeat happened on the October 8th, 2015 episode of SmackDown, when Strowman and Bray Wyatt lost a tag team match to Randy Orton and Roman Reigns by disqualification. A few days later, Braun Strowman also lost his first singles match when he was defeated by Roman Reigns via countout. Towards the end of the year, the Wyatts started feuding with the Dudley Boys. By this time, Eric Rowan had returned to the Wyatt family, so it was Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, and Eric Rowan versus Bubba Ray and Devon Dudley. To even the playing field, the Dudleys recruited Tommy Dreamer and Rhino to help them out. This led to an 8-man tag team match at TLC 2015, the Wyatt family versus the ECW Originals. The Wyatts won after Braun chokeslammed Bubba through a table. So 2015 ended strongly for Braun, and the momentum was carried into 2016. Strowman entered his first Royal Rumble match, and while he didn't win, he did eliminate the most participants with 5 eliminations. After the Royal Rumble, Braun, along with the other Wyatts, attacked Kane, Big Show, and Ryback over the course of a week. This gave way to a 3-on-3 tag team match at the next pay-per-view, Fastlane. Kane, Ryback, and Big Show won, which was the first time Braun Strowman had been defeated at a pay-per-view, although Braun wasn't the one who got pinned. Things got quiet over the next few months. While Braun Strowman and the rest of the Wyatts didn't have a match at WrestleMania, they were part of a segment that saw the group getting beaten up by The Rock and John Cena. The Wyatt family was supposed to have a match against another faction, the League of Nations, at the Payback pay-per-view in May 2016, but it got cancelled after Bray Wyatt got legitimately hurt. Once the Wyatt family was back to 100%, they began a rivalry with the WWE Tag Team Champions, The New Day, after the trio interrupted them. The two factions traded verbal battles on the mic for a few weeks before trading fists. In a unique turn, the two groups fought at the Wyatt Family compound in what's best described as a cinematic match. The Wyatts ran away during that encounter, which set the stage for a proper match at the Battleground pay-per-view. While the Wyatt family did win, it was a non-title match. This did, however, allow Strowman's time with the Wyatt family to end on a high note. Shortly after Battleground, Braun was separated from the group when he was drafted to Raw, while the others went to SmackDown. The move kicked off a new chapter in Strowman's career. For the first while, the Monster Among Men would just destroy local competitors in very quick matches, the most notable being his fight with James Ellsworth. Braun Strowman's first rivalry as a singles competitor started when he started disrespecting luchadors. This got the attention of Sin Cara, and the two had several matches, with Braun winning every time. After defeating 3 local competitors in one match, Strowman demanded better competition. And he got it. Sami Zayn confronted Braun, only to receive a hard shove. The next week, Strowman was scheduled to have a match against Sami Zayn on Raw. It never happened though, due to the two attacking each other before the bell could be run. After that, Strowman fought Sami Zayn, as well as 10 other wrestlers, in a battle royal. Braun won, which earned him a spot on Team Raw at Survivor Series. During the 5-on-5 match, Strowman eliminated former rival Dean Ambrose, but Braun himself was eliminated when he got counted out due to interference by another former rival, James Ellsworth. To make matters worse, Team Raw ended up losing the match too. After Survivor Series, Braun returned to his feud with Sami Zayn. The two were put in a match, but after 4 minutes, the referee called it off due to Zayn being unable to compete. Sami Zayn spent the next few months demanding a rematch, and he eventually got it. At the Roadblock End of the Line pay-per-view, Braun and Sami faced off again with a special stipulation. If Braun Strowman couldn't defeat Zayn in 10 minutes, then he would lose. Sami survived the time limit, making him the winner, but it wasn't over yet. The next night, Braun was irate that he had lost, and became even angrier when he couldn't fight Sami Zayn, as Zayn was not there that night. Strowman began wreaking havoc around the arena, attacking several wrestlers, including Seth Rollins. This led to a match between Strowman and Seth the next week, but Sami Zayn interfered. On the first Raw of 2017, the Monster Among Men had his third and final match with Sami Zayn. It was the last man standing match that Strowman won after slamming Sami Zayn onto the outside of the ring. Braun's next big move happened at the 2017 Royal Rumble. During the Universal Championship match, Braun aided Kevin Owens and helped him retain the Universal Championship against Roman Reigns. It later turned out that Braun only did it because Owens promised Strowman a Universal Championship match. Braun did ultimately get his title shot, but Roman returned the favor and cost Strowman the championship. After this, a match was set up between Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns at Fastlane. The two spent the next few weeks interfering in each other's matches and getting into brawls. At Fastlane, Strowman dished out a lot of punishment, but Reigns had plot armor. Roman won the match and became the first person to pin the Monster Among Men. The next night, Braun Strowman called out Roman Reigns, saying the big dog only got lucky. Instead of Reigns, Braun got The Undertaker. Despite saying he wanted better competition, Braun just left the ring. Anyways, Braun did eventually get his rematch against Roman Reigns, but The Undertaker interfered and chokeslammed both men. The stream of bad luck continued for Mr. Strowman, as not only was he put on the WrestleMania 33 kickoff show, but he also lost the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. However, things picked up the next night. On the Raw after WrestleMania 33, Strowman confronted the Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar, and made it clear he wanted a title shot. Before that though, Braun had some unfinished business with Roman Reigns. The following week, Strowman attacked Reigns, pushing him off a loading dock and also tipping over an ambulance that Roman was inside of. A third match was then set up between the Monster Among Men and the Roman Empire at the Payback pay-per-view. In the lead up to the match, Braun would compete against Big Show, creating this iconic moment. At Payback, both Strowman and Reigns once again took a lot of punishment, but unlike last time, Braun got the pinfall. Shortly after the match, Strowman attacked Roman, but Reigns got the last laugh when he used an ambulance as a weapon. Roman wasn't done though, because about a week later, the big dog attacked the Monster Among Men with a steel chair, injuring Braun even further and causing him to be out of action for a little while. In reality, Braun had gotten injured for real and needed to undergo surgery. Strowman wasn't gone for too long as he returned in mid-June 2017. Upon his return, Strowman picked up where he left off and attacked Roman Reigns yet again. Since the two had a history of attacking each other with ambulances, Braun challenged Roman to an ambulance match at the next pay-per-view, Great Balls of Fire. Reigns of course accepted, and it was on. At the event, Braun picked up another victory over Roman Reigns by locking him inside the ambulance. However, Reigns ended the night on top as he attacked Braun after the match and then crashed the ambulance with Strowman inside it. Braun Strowman was gone again, but not for long, as he returned by attacking Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe during a number 1 contenders match for the Universal Championship. Because of this, it was decided that Braun, Roman, and Joe would challenge Brock Lesnar for the Universal title at SummerSlam in a Fatal 4-Way match. In his second World Championship match, Braun Strowman once again came up short, although he wasn't the one who got pinned. Because of this, Braun attacked Brock Lesnar the next night on Raw. Strowman got his wish and was given a 1-on-1 match with Brock at the No Mercy pay-per-view. While Braun Strowman remained dominant in the weeks leading up to the match, he fell short during the actual championship match and was beaten by Brock Lesnar. After this, Strowman took a break from his world title pursuits. He began butting heads with the Raw Tag Team Champions, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, defeating both of them in singles matches. Later, after defeating Matt Hardy, Strowman was ready to deal more damage to his opponent. However, Seth, Dean, and Roman Reigns, who had recently reformed the Shield, stopped Braun and attacked him. The Hounds of Justice were already feuding with The Miz, so after the attack, Strowman decided to join forces with the A-lister. This ultimately led to a 3-on-5 match at the TLC pay-per-view, where Braun, Miz, Sheamus, Cesaro, and Kane all faced off against Rollins, Ambrose, and, well, it was supposed to be Roman, but he was pulled right before the event due to illness. Kurt Angle took his place, but it turned out Braun had enemies on his team. In the middle of the match, Kane suddenly turned on Strowman, and later, Sheamus, Cesaro, and Miz also ganged up on the Monster Among Men, throwing him in a garbage truck. Strowman's team ultimately lost, but more importantly, this marked the first time in his career that Braun Strowman became a face, a good guy. Soon after, Strowman got even with The Miz by attacking him and his Miztourage. At the same time, Survivor Series was coming up, and it would be Team Raw versus Team SmackDown again. Strowman was made the first member of Team Raw, and things went much better compared to last year. Not only did Braun make 3 eliminations, but Raw also won the match, and Strowman was the sole survivor. The next night, Braun Strowman was confronted by the man who turned on him at TLC, Kane. The Big Red Machine attacked Strowman during the match. This ultimately set up a fight between the two, with the winner facing Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship at the 2018 Royal Rumble. The match ended in a double countout, so it was decided that both Braun and Kane would face Lesnar at the Rumble. Of course, all 3 men brawled with each other before that, but Strowman crossed the line when he yanked down the Raw set, crushing Kane and Brock Lesnar. Because of this, Strowman was fired from WWE. The Monster Among Men was none too happy and went on a rampage. This forced Raw Commissioner Stephanie McMahon to rehire Braun, and the Triple Threat Universal Championship match was reinstated. At the Royal Rumble, it was complete carnage, big move after big move. Things even got a bit hot when Brock Lesnar punched Strowman for real after Braun gave Lesnar a stiff knee to the head. Still though, Strowman failed to win the Universal Championship. The Monster Among Men did however get another shot when he defeated Kane the following night in a last man standing match. The victory earned Braun a spot in the Elimination Chamber match where the winner would challenge Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Despite making 5 eliminations, Braun had his victory denied by his former rival, Roman Reigns. After that defeat, Strowman set his sights on a new championship. On the March 12, 2018 episode of Raw, a Tag Team Battle Royal was set up, with the winner getting to challenge the Raw Tag Team Champions, Sheamus and Cesaro, at WrestleMania. Even though he didn't have a tag team partner, Strowman entered himself into the Battle Royal and won. Raw General Manager Kurt Angle decided that Strowman could challenge for the tag title belts, but only if he got a tag team partner. Strowman did find someone, but not who you'd expect. At WrestleMania, Braun asked the live crowd who wanted to be his tag team partner. He ended up picking a 10-year-old kid named Nicholas, who was actually the son of WWE referee John Cone. Braun and Nick managed to win the match, and Nicholas became the youngest champion in WWE history. This was also the first championship Braun Strowman had won in WWE. The reign was short-lived, however, as the next night on Raw, Braun and Nicholas vacated the tag team titles due to Nicholas, well, being a kid. Although, they vowed to come back for the titles once Nicholas was done with school. Soon after, WWE hosted the Greatest Royal Rumble, featuring a 50-man Royal Rumble match. Braun Strowman was one of those men, and he won the entire thing. He unfortunately didn't get a World Championship match, but he did win the Greatest Royal Rumble Championship, although the title never appeared again after the event. Afterwards, Strowman found himself in a 6-man tag team match. During the match, Braun continuously threw Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, 2 of his opponents, into the ringside barricade. This set up a tag team match at the next pay-per-view, Backlash. Braun teamed with Bobby Lashley, one of his partners in the previously mentioned 6-man tag team match, and the two fought and defeated Zayn and Owens. Braun would then qualify for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match and won it. During that match, however, Kevin Owens, who was also a participant, got thrown off a ladder by Strowman. In the aftermath, KO tried to befriend Braun, saying he would help protect the Monster Among Men. Not only did Braun Strowman not want Kevin Owens' protection, Strowman also made Kevin's life miserable by destroying his car, knocking him off the Raw stage in a porta potty, and more. Finally, this set up a steel cage match at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. The climax of the match saw both men on top of the cage. Strowman threw KO off it, which inadvertently allowed Kevin Owens to win the match, since Owens technically touched the floor first. This gave way to a second match, but this time, Braun Strowman's Money in the Bank contract was on the line. That proved to be a non-concern though, as Strowman made very quick work of Kevin Owens at SummerSlam. But Braun's night didn't end there. Strowman stated he intended on cashing in his Money in the Bank contract on whoever won the Universal Championship match between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns later in the show. Lesnar, the champ, tried to stay one step ahead and incapacitated Braun Strowman during the title match. However, this ended up costing the Beast, and Roman Reigns defeated him to become the new Universal Champion. The next night, Braun attempted to cash in on a vulnerable Roman Reigns, but Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins prevented that and reformed the Shield too. With two failed cash-ins, Braun decided to take the John Cena, Rob Van Dam approach and used his contract to get a Hell in a Cell match against Roman for the title at the namesake event. Before that, Braun and Roman were put in a tag team match together, taking on Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. During the match, Strowman attacked Roman Reigns and teamed up with McIntyre and Ziggler. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins tried to help out, but Braun and his goons overpowered them. Finally, Hell in a Cell came, and despite it being, well, a cell, others tried to get involved. Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler attempted to help Braun Strowman, but Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose evened the playing field. However, Brock Lesnar also wanted a piece of the action and attacked both Strowman and Reigns. The referee declared it a no contest, and Braun once again failed in his pursuit of the Universal Championship. Anyways, before Brock could be dealt with, Braun, Drew, and Dolph had a bone to pick with the Shield. This set up a 6-man tag team match at the Super Showdown pay-per-view that was won by the Shield. But the Brawny Bunch got their revenge, defeating the Hounds of Justice 2 days later on Raw. Now, originally, a triple threat match had been set up for the next pay-per-view, Crown Jewel. Roman Reigns would defend the Universal Championship against Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman. But before that, Reigns had a relapse in his leukemia. This forced him to relinquish the Universal title, turning the triple threat into a one-on-one match. At the show, both Braun and Brock were ready, but right before the bell rang, Strowman was attacked by the acting general manager of Raw, Baron Corbin. Because of that, Brock Lesnar managed to defeat Braun Strowman, although it took 5 F5s to do so. Braun was rightfully irate and went on a rampage on the following episode of Raw. A deal was then made by Raw Commissioner Stephanie McMahon that if Braun could lead Team Raw to victory in the upcoming Survivor Series match, then he'd be given a match against Baron Corbin. Braun got Team Raw the victory at Survivor Series 2018, but was then immediately attacked by Baron Corbin, along with Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. The next night, Strowman was assaulted again by all three men and taken out of action. While a match had been scheduled between Braun and Corbin at TLC, it was now up in the air. However, the Monster Among Men returned at the pay-per-view and, with the help of some other wrestlers Baron Corbin had ticked off, Strowman won. The victory also gave Braun Strowman a shot at the Universal Championship, but unfortunately, that match wouldn't happen. On the January 14th, 2019 episode of Raw, Baron Corbin insulted Strowman. Braun gave chase and, in doing so, damaged Vince McMahon's limo. Because of this, McMahon canceled Strowman's Universal Championship match. Strowman instead participated in the 2019 Men's Royal Rumble match. He made it all the way to the final two, but was eliminated by Seth Rollins. Since Baron Corbin had now cost Braun Strowman 2 Universal Championship matches, the two decided to face off again at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. It was a no disqualification match, and thanks to Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley, Baron Corbin was able to win, although Strowman would defeat Corbin in a tables match the next night. Soon after, Braun began a new feud, not with another wrestler, but with celebrities. On the March 4th, 2019 edition of Raw, Braun assaulted Saturday Night Live host Colin Jost after he and Michael Che questioned wrestling's legitimacy. The two hosts tried to apologize by giving Strowman a car, but Braun destroyed it. Braun, Jost, and Che would all cross paths again during the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal match at WrestleMania 35. Strowman not only eliminated both of them, but also won the match. With that side quest done, Braun Strowman set his sights on becoming world champion. He was announced as a participant in the 2019 Money in the Bank ladder match. However, 6 days before the event, Strowman lost a match to Sami Zayn due to interference by Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre. Per the match stipulation, Braun forfeited his spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match. The following week, Braun sort of got his hands on Corbin when he, Baron, Bobby Lashley, and The Miz competed in a Fatal 4-Way match to become the #1 contender for the Universal Championship. During that match, Strowman and Lashley began brawling in the crowd, which allowed Corbin to get the win. This kicked off a feud between Strowman and Lashley that saw them first compete in an arm wrestling match. Strowman won, but a proper one-on-one match was made for Super Showdown, which Braun also won. The two behemoths had a Falls Count Anywhere rematch on Raw that resulted in a no contest when both of them went through the LED board. This set up a third match at Extreme Rules, where Strowman, once again, was victorious. After this, we got sort of an interesting storyline. It began when Braun Strowman saved the Universal Champion, Seth Rollins, from an attack by the OC. The two then fought the OC, who were the Raw Tag Team Champions, in a title match. Seth and Braun won, making Strowman a 2-time Raw Tag Team Champion. Despite being partners, Strowman still challenged Seth Rollins to a Universal Championship match at the next pay-per-view, Clash of Champions. Strowman got his match, but he and Seth also had to defend the Raw Tag Team Championship that night too. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it work, and lost the tag titles at the event. Later in the show, the now former tag team partners fought for the Universal title. Due to Braun's knee giving out, Seth Rollins was able to defeat him and retain the gold. With striking out on World Championship gold yet again, the Monster Run men went back to feuding with celebrities. On the special 20th anniversary edition of SmackDown, boxer Tyson Fury was watching from the front row. Braun taunted Fury, and the two nearly got physical. On the following episode of Raw, Tyson Fury demanded an apology from Braun. Strowman didn't give one, and instead, a brawl broke out, which required a small army to stop. This set up a match at the next pay-per-view, Crown Jewel. During it, Tyson Fury managed to capitalize and won the match via countout. Strowman got even though in a post-match attack. As this was going on, WWE hosted the draft, and Braun Strowman went from Raw to SmackDown. His first big match on the Blue Brand was being part of Team SmackDown at Survivor Series. Despite his success at the previous year's match, 2019 was kind of underwhelming. Strowman made 0 eliminations, and he himself was eliminated by countout, although Team SmackDown still won. Afterward, Braun began butting heads with Cesaro, Sami Zayn, and Shinsuke Nakamura. They had several matches over the next few weeks, all of which Strowman won. This ultimately led to Braun challenging Shinsuke Nakamura for the Intercontinental Championship, and despite interference from Zayn and Cesaro, Strowman won, making this the first singles championship he won in WWE. Unless you count the Greatest Royal Rumble Championship. Like Braun's other title reigns though, this one was short. About a month later, at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, Strowman fought Shinsuke, Sami Zayn, and Cesaro in a 3-on-1 handicap match for the championship. Despite his size and strength, the numbers were too much, and Braun lost the match and the IC title. However, bigger and better things were right around the corner. Almost immediately after this, the pandemic era began. A scheduled match at WrestleMania 36 between Roman Reigns and the Universal Champion, Goldberg, got cancelled due to Reigns having health concerns. Braun Strowman was chosen to replace Roman, and he won. After many failed attempts, Braun Strowman finally won the Universal Championship and became a world champion. Soon after, Strowman would have his first feud as champ when an old face would reappear. On the post-WrestleMania episode of SmackDown, Bray Wyatt confronted Braun and reminded Strowman that it was he who brought Braun into WWE. Wyatt also stated he wanted the Universal Championship, which set the stage for a match at Money in the Bank. During the match, Bray played mind games on Braun Strowman. However, Wyatt didn't realize that Braun was gonna mess with him too. Strowman made it seem like he reverted to his old self and that he was joining Bray Wyatt again. When Bray's guard was lowered, Strowman used that to get the upper hand and defeat his former leader. After that, Braun began a feud with The Miz and John Morrison. The Dirt Sheet duo started taunting and making fun of Braun, even though they couldn't back it up in the ring. Despite this, the two sides clashed at Backlash in a 2-on-1 handicap match for the Universal Championship. Unlike the handicap match Braun had a few months earlier, he defeated Miz and Morrison to keep his title reign alive. After that little detour, Braun resumed his rivalry with Bray Wyatt. Bray basically said that he had unfinished business, and in order to move forward, they needed to go back. Ultimately, Bray challenged Braun to meet him at the Wyatt compound in the Florida Swamp. This gave way to the famous, or infamous, depending on your point of view, swamp fight match. It was a cinematic match that featured a lot of mind games. Ultimately, Bray Wyatt won after pulling Strowman into the water, although Braun remained Universal Champion. Strowman wouldn't be seen for a little while, but Bray Wyatt would be. Bray, as well as his alter ego, The Fiend, taunted Strowman and warned that no one was safe until he got the Universal Championship. To get under Braun's skin, The Fiend targeted Strowman's mixed match tag team partner, Alexa Bliss. Yeah, this was a thing WWE did in 2018, where teams consisting of one male and one female wrestler competed in a tournament. Braun and Alexa didn't win, and it really had no bearing on anything. Well, until now. The Fiend targeting Bliss did get Braun's attention, but he said he didn't care about her. He also said the swamp fight made him a monster, and he proved that by attacking Alexa Bliss a week later. This made Braun Strowman a heel, or bad guy again, and he fought The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, at SummerSlam in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Bray was triumphant this time and ended Braun Strowman's Universal Championship reign at 141 days. After the match, Roman Reigns returned and attacked both Bray and Braun. Then, literally 1 week later, the three men came face to face at the next pay-per-view, Payback. The three-way didn't do any favors for Braun, as he lost that match too. After this, it was once again time for the WWE Draft, and Strowman found himself back on Monday Night Raw. Like when he was drafted to SmackDown the year before, Strowman's first big match as a member of Team Raw was the 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. Also like the year before, Strowman's team won, but he didn't get eliminated this time. The next night, WWE official Adam Pearce said that one of the members of Team Raw would get a WWE Championship match. However, Strowman flipped out when Adam Pearce introduced him by saying, "last but not least." This outrage caused Braun to get suspended indefinitely, and Braun wouldn't return until the 2021 Royal Rumble. During the 30-man match, Braun Strowman entered at number 30. He made 3 eliminations, but was then eliminated himself. A few weeks later, Braun Strowman got upset again when he wasn't included in the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match, although that was because it was exclusive to former WWE champions. WWE official Adam Pearce said, however, that if Strowman could defeat Bobby Lashley, then Braun would get a shot at the WWE Championship. Unfortunately, Braun couldn't do what he did in 2019 anymore, and he didn't get a shot at the WWE title. Braun wasn't happy about this. So, to rectify things, Shane McMahon, who was appearing off and on as an authority figure, set up a match. Braun would team with Adam Pearce to take on the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Hurt Business. Strowman had the match won. However, Shane McMahon caused Braun and Pearce to lose the match. This made the Monster Among Men even angrier, and McMahon fanned the flames in the following weeks when he called Braun stupid. The two were supposed to have a match at Fastlane, but McMahon got injured during his training and had to pull out. Braun instead had to face Elias, who he defeated relatively easily. Strowman fought Elias again in a rematch on Raw, but afterward, Shane McMahon attacked Braun, proving that he faked the injury. Finally, Braun Strowman challenged Shane McMahon to a steel cage match at WrestleMania 37, which Shane accepted. Despite being in a cage, Elias, as well as Jackson Ryker, interfered and aided Shane O'Mac. However, it wasn't enough to keep Braun down, and the Monster Among Men won in decisive fashion. After that, Braun Strowman set his sights on World Championship gold again. This earned him a spot in a triple threat number 1 contenders match for the WWE Championship. Strowman failed to win, however, as Drew McIntyre scored the pinfall. However, Braun challenged Drew to a one-on-one match with the stipulation that if Braun won, he'd be added to the WWE Championship match. Braun got the W, making it a triple threat match for the title. Strowman vs. McIntyre vs. the champ, Bobby Lashley, at WrestleMania Backlash. Like other triple threat matches, the chaotic nature did not benefit Strowman, as he got hit by 2 finishers before being covered for the 3 count. To everyone's surprise, including Braun's, this would be his last match for a while, as he was released from his WWE contract a couple of weeks later. This wasn't the end of Braun Strowman's WWE journey though. A little over a year later, in September 2022, the Monster returned. Braun made an impactful comeback by laying out every competitor in a Fatal 4-Way match on Raw. After that, his first major rivalry would be with another giant. While wrestling a match, Strowman was confronted by MVP and his client, Omos. MVP took issue with Strowman calling himself the monster of all monsters because, well, just look at Omos. The two decided to settle it in the ring, and a match between them was made for the Crown Jewel pay-per-view. Braun did back up what he said, as he defeated the 7'2" Omos. With that massive win under his belt, Braun entered the SmackDown World Cup tournament. He won the first round match, but lost the second to Ricochet when the faction Imperium interfered. This came after Braun had defeated the group in a 6-man tag team match the week before. This caused Braun Strowman and Ricochet to form a tag team to fight Imperium. The two clicked, as they were able to defeat Imperium's Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser in a street fight. All that was left was to challenge Imperium's leader, the Intercontinental Champion, Gunther. Braun did that, but was unsuccessful, due in part to a distraction by Vinci and Kaiser. While their feud with Imperium was mostly over, Braun Strowman and Ricochet continued their tag team. In fact, they won a tournament to become the #1 contenders for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. They didn't win the tag titles, but still. Anyways, the group went from blue to red when they were traded to Raw as part of the 2023 WWE Draft. Sadly, Braun's career hit a bump in the road when he was taken out of action for about a year to undergo neck surgery. It wouldn't be until April 2024 that Strowman was back in WWE. When he returned, Braun saved Jey Uso from a beatdown by Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and Logan Paul. Despite this, Braun wouldn't form a tag team with Jey or really feud with Balor, McDonough, or Paul. Instead, he was just kind of there, competing in matches, losing some, and winning others. Braun's first real rivalry after his neck surgery was with another big man, Bronson Reed. The two wreaked havoc on Raw, flipping over cars and destroying equipment. Ultimately, this culminated in a last man standing match on Raw, where Braun would get some help from a former ally. In the climax of the match, Seth Rollins ran in and curb stomped Bronson Reed, allowing Strowman to get to his feet and win the match. Rollins' help had less to do with his history with Braun and more for the fact that Reed had injured him almost 2 months earlier. Speaking of injuries, Braun Strowman got legit injured during his match with Bronson Reed and needed a few months off. He returned at the end of 2024 and was moved to the SmackDown roster. Strowman's first order of business was a mini feud with Carmelo Hayes. Braun defeated Hayes in quick fashion upon his return to WWE. The following week, however, Strowman lost a rematch by countout. After that, Braun Strowman kicked off his next rivalry when he came out to stop Jacob Fatu from beating down LA Knight. This led to a match between Strowman and Fatu on Saturday night's main event, which Braun won after Fatu shoved the referee. The rivalry heated up at the 2025 Royal Rumble, when Braun eliminated Jacob Fatu from the titular match. Over the next couple of months, the two kept their feud going, mainly in tag team matches, with Strowman teaming up with the likes of Damian Priest, Jimmy Uso, and LA Knight. Braun and Jacob would face off again in March 2025, but the match ended indecisively after the Bloodline interfered on Fatu's behalf, causing Strowman to win by disqualification. Finally, the two had a last man standing match on the April 4th, 2025 episode of SmackDown. Unfortunately for Braun, Seth Rollins wasn't there to lend a hand, and the Monster Among Men lost. 2 weeks later, LA Knight was in a match against Solo Sikoa when Jacob Fatu interfered and attacked Knight. Braun ran in to make the save, leading to an impromptu match, which ended up being Braun's final in WWE. When the tag team match started, LA Knight and Jacob Fatu were the legal men. Knight managed to give Braun the tag, and Strowman started running amok. The Strowman Express missed Solo Sikoa, but the gust of wind managed to knock him down. Braun got Fatu back in the ring, but Jacob changed the tide of the match. The Samoan Werewolf laid into Braun Strowman before tagging in Solo Sikoa. Braun tried to fight out of Sikoa's hold, but wasn't able to. Jacob Fatu got back in the match, and this time, Strowman managed to hit a sidewalk slam, giving himself just enough time to tag in LA Knight. Knight had them on the ropes, but Jacob Fatu broke up a pin attempt. This made Braun literally pounce on Fatu and send him to the outside. Fatu used Braun's own momentum against him and sent him crashing into the announcer's table. However, this didn't derail the match, and LA Knight got the pinfall victory. I gotta be honest, this match felt a bit sloppy. There were several moments where a move didn't quite feel like it connected or had the right level of impact. It was a fast match, so that helped, but not a great way to go out for such a dominant big man like Braun Strowman. Not long after this match, Braun Strowman was released from his contract, along with several other wrestlers. Apparently, part of the reason was due to Strowman's higher salary, which was the same reason that was rumored when Braun was first released back in 2021. I say that because I wouldn't be surprised if we see Strowman return to WWE someday. Another iconic powerhouse who had his final WWE match in 2025 was Goldberg. To see his first and last matches, watch the video on screen.